Hello everyone, Joshua Myers here.
And I'm Abe.
I'm Jay.
Josh too.
Hello everyone, Joshua Myers here, and welcome back to my Indiana Jones franchise review series. That's right, we're returning to the Indiana Jones franchise. It's been about, I think, probably a year since I did the last one, which was Indiana Jones and Temple of Shit. Now we're doing the third film in this series, and that is Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade. Let's get right into this.
I don't like fast women.
To the women in his life, he's irresistible. To the enemy,
Nazis. I hate these guys.
he's invincible. But to his dad, he's just plain
Junior? Don't call me that, please.
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Like Indiana.
We named the dog Indiana.
Rated PG-13.
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade stars Harrison Ford, Sean Connery, Alison Dottie, and is directed by Steven Spielberg. The plot of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade is that Indy's Nazi enemies are back and have kidnapped his father, Professor Henry Jones Sr., portrayed by the late Sean Connery, in their effort to locate the sacred Holy Grail. Following a trail from America to Venice to the deserts of the Middle East, it's up to Indy, portrayed by Harrison Ford, to save his father, to save the Grail, and save the day. Now, before I get on with the rest of this review, I would like to say this about this movie. To be honest, I was really hesitant on reviewing the rest of the movies, purely because of the reception I had towards Temple of Doom. If you go back to my review, you know I hate Temple of Doom with a fiery passion. I don't get why there's some people who like it. Again, if you do like the film, it's your opinion. This is just my opinion as well. I would much rather have somebody like something than be a negative Nancy. But honestly, to me, Temple of Doom was a movie that I just could not get into. And especially because I was excited for Temple of Doom, considering, like, about a year ago was when I watched the first movie for the first time, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I loved that movie. And I was so excited for Temple of Doom, and I went in with high expectations, and I was so massively disappointed. You would not believe. So that's why I kind of was hesitant to review Last Crusade, because I thought it was going to be, you know, either not as bad as Temple of Doom, but still pretty bad, or just about as bad as Temple of Doom, if not worse. I thought it was going to be on a scale of 1. But I will admit, I was wrong. So let's just get into my thoughts on it. The story. I really dug the story of this movie. A lot better than the last movie, I could say. I like the idea of Indiana Jones going out, and he's not looking for treasure in this movie or anything like that, or being forced into it. Well, he kinda is, but not in the way the first film or the second film was. He's actually out to save his father, which I like the inclusion of his father in this movie, and seeing them work together and everything, and I thought it was kind of sweet, actually. Really like the eventual bond and maturing relationship between Indy and his father, who is portrayed by the late Sean Connery, which he was really good in this, actually. I think this might have been my first movie to see with Sean Connery in it, and he was really good. And he had a likable presence about him and that, and honestly, I thought he was perfect as the father to Indiana Jones. Which, before I get into the rest of the review, a moment of silence for the late Sean Connery. May he rest in peace. But anyway, I also like the dialogue of this movie. The dialogue matches the first film more so than Temple of Doom did, and I think it was much better written dialogue. I dug the new characters for the most part. I even like the romantic interest Indy had in this movie, which was a lot better than Willie, that's for sure.
The biggest trouble with her is the noise.
Doctor, don't
cheat. You pay money. You owe me 10 cents.
You accuse me of cheating?
You
cheated!
You make me poor. No fun. Play with you, no fun.
Oh, fine, I quit.
Hey, don't ever show that clip again. I actually did like the love interest in this movie. Elsa, not going into well, you know what, this is an old movie. Most people have probably seen this movie, so spoiler warnings if you have not seen Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Watch it and come back to this video. So if you have not seen this movie, you have to warn. So with the character of Elsa, I really liked her in terms of, you know, their chemistry and everything. A lot better than Kate Capshaw as Willie, and I actually did grew to care for her. And then something happened within the middle of the movie, a sort of twist that made my heart broken. Like, I felt bad, you know, and this, like, more so for Indy, you know, because, you know, I kind of felt what Indy felt. I felt upset and pissed, you know, because it turns out that Elsa is a Nazi and is one of the people searching for the Holy Grail. So I was really like, what? I was shocked. I was, you know, upset and angry because I did like their chemistry together. And to find out it was all ruse and that, it's like I felt what Indy was going through. And also another thing that kind of was like a emotional moment for me is because I cared, like grew to care for the building relationship between Indy and his father. And there was a moment where the Nazis tried to get Indy to go in to look for the Grail. He's like, hell no, you know, like shooting me isn't going to convince me to take you to it. And it was like, really? And then shoots his father instead. And I was like, oh no. And I was like, I was worried that his father was going to die. I really was. And when they do eventually get the Holy Grail, and I didn't give it to his father, I was like, yes, you know? Also, I like the villains in this better. It's the Nazis again. I like the villains in this, and they're intimidating and really great foil to Indiana Jones, actually. And one of the weird moments in this movie is that you get to see the Nazis burning books, like the book burning, and that was a bit uncomfortable. But not in a way Temple Doom was, where there was a lot of racial stereotypes and all that stuff, and just annoying characters. But in this, it's like, seeing Nazis burn those books. and there's this one moment where it's kind of funny, but it's kind of also disturbing, and you're kind of on the edge of your seat with this moment. There's a scene in which Indy has to basically disguise himself as a Nazi to get his father's book to the map of the Holy Grail, and he gets in. There's crowds of Nazis everywhere, and it's pushing him closer and closer to something, and he stumbles upon someone, and that's someone being Adolf Hitler himself. And I was like, shit. You know, Indy is so fucked right now. And I was on the edge of my seat, and then, like, especially, even more so when Hitler took his father's book, I was like, oh no, what is going to happen here? And here comes the funny part. It turns out, like, he thinks he's some sort of fan of Adolf Hitler, and actually Hitler signs his autograph in Indy's father's book. Which was a big relief, but also kind of funny in that sense. So yeah, this movie has a lot more suspense and tension than the last one, just like the first film. Also, I think it had great action in this movie too. Like, there's so many great action scenes in this movie, I can't even keep track of them. I love just about every one of them. But I could keep on going on about my positives all day long about this movie, so let's just get into my negatives. I got 0 negatives with this movie, which is something I wasn't expecting. I thought I might have had at the very least something, but I don't care. So let's just get on to my rating. So with that said, I'm going to give Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade a 5 out of 5 stars. Honestly, for me, I love this movie. I so wish I didn't hesitate to watch this, you know, but I'm glad I watched it. This is probably my second favorite Indiana Jones movie, but to be honest, both this and the original Raiders of the Lost Ark are tied for me. Honestly, that's how good this one is. I like it just as much as the original movie, and one I would probably revisit along with the original movie. I love the action. It's got a lot of heart. It's emotional moments too. Even some twists I didn't saw coming. It's got, you know, just... It's also got some pretty good sense of humor too. It also has a pretty good sense of humor too. And man, this was a massive improvement over Temple of Doom. I just cannot believe how good this movie was. And I highly recommend it to you, especially if you have only seen the first 2 films, and especially if you hated Temple of Doom like I did, or at least didn't like it. You know, this was a massive improvement, and honestly, I think this is where the series should have ended. But unfortunately, there's another one that is so infamously bad, and that is one that has to deal with aliens, and that's going to be one of my next reviews. So stay tuned for that. Thank you all for watching, and I need a drink.